It's great to have you all here. We wanted to gather everyone here to celebrate a milestone together, and for you to all see in person what we've been able to create in a short period of time. Tonight's more than a ribbon cutting, it's more than a factory tour. It's proof. Proof that we can manufacture great consumer products in America again, and that when people refuse to quit, extraordinary things can happen. You know, when we started down this road, I had no idea we'd sort of end up right in the middle of a national conversation about reshoring manufacturing. But here we are, and I've realized Guardian Bikes is the perfect example for the country to learn from. It's a simple product category that everyone understands, a category which used to be manufactured in the USA decades ago, then got completely 100% outsourced. Now Guardian is bringing it all back with smarter approaches, utilizing the latest in automation, data, and AI. We're doing it by being vertically integrated, controlling everything from the factory floor to our customer's door. And we're doing it with a culture that's willing to tackle anything from a first principles approach, executing step by step, relentlessly, and with urgency, and one that learns fast, takes smart risks, and never, ever, ever gives up. With a recipe like that, it becomes possible to win against any company in the world, in any consumer product category. When you think about making things from a first principles approach, it doesn't make sense to manufacture something as big as a bicycle clear on the other side of the world, load them into slow-moving container ships, trucks, and trains to eventually arrive in a warehouse, and then ship it to a retailer, and then have millions of individual consumers drive their cars to those retailers to put the bike in the car and then take it home. Why not make a bike become a bike in the market that it's consumed in, send it straight from a US factory floor to the customer's door, and cut out all the millions of miles traveled, all the emissions, and all the costs? Consider this, from where we're sitting tonight, we can reach 280 million people, 80% of the US population, within a 2-day drive from here. From an Indiana factory floor to the customer's door, this is by far the most efficient model to deliver great products at great value to American consumers. Not only that, but it's a model that can successfully bring production back to the United States and revitalize small towns just like this one. That's why I believe very deeply in what we're doing here, and it's so much bigger than bikes. It's the future of how production and commerce will work in the coming years and decades. Fast, data-driven, onshore, and close to the customer. Guardian began with a simple innovation, SureStop brakes. SureStop later evolved into Guardian Bikes, and during those SureStop days, all the major incumbents in this industry mostly shunned our idea and locked us out of the market. Guardian Bikes was created initially just to survive, so we could try to control our own destiny and find a path for SureStop to exist in the world. We decided to go direct to consumer with Guardian because we wanted our destiny to be judged only by the end customer and not a few gatekeepers. When we moved to Seymour, Natalie and I showed up in a U-Haul pulling a Tesla behind it from Austin, Texas. We pulled up on July 3rd, 2022, not really knowing what this would all turn into and the people that we'd meet. My grandpa, Lee Bowman, the one who inspired the creation of this company, had just rather suddenly died a few weeks earlier. We were trying to figure out how to pull off a factory on a shoestring budget, and the company was still only about $11 million in annual revenue and was just barely breaking even. But somehow Sam and others believed that this would be something. But there was no way the factory would work if we didn't figure out how to really scale the company significantly at the same time. I remembered a tough lesson Mark Cuban told us on Shark Tank. He said, "Your marketing sucks." And he was right. Eventually, I realized in a business like this, you can't hire marketing leadership without first deeply understanding it yourself. The CEO needs to go all in and figure out how to engineer the growth engine. And after 6 months of learning, we eventually built what I like to call a Navy SEALs marketing team. Some of them are sitting right around here. Aaron, I see you. And we finally got good. That lesson, own the hard problems, learn fast, and execute relentlessly, is written into Guardian's DNA. And a handful of people is now 8 buildings making thousands of bikes per day. We controlled our own destiny, and therefore we were able to scale. But what has scaling meant for communities when the factory is located here versus keeping it overseas? If we had kept our manufacturing overseas, I estimate we'd have about 30 employees, all on laptops, doing things like marketing and customer service and some light operations and supply chain. But instead, by putting our factory here, we've created 300 direct jobs, thousands of indirect jobs. From electricians to integrators to our network of local suppliers, we lease 8 buildings in town that otherwise might be empty. We have $15 million per year in payroll going directly to members of the Seymour community. We have $2 million per year going into building leases. We have $20 million per year going to local suppliers. All of that economic activity doesn't exist in the United States if the factory would have stayed in China. It's a blessing to have moved here and see all this for myself, day in and day out on the ground. So many stories of opportunities created, families created, homes purchased, debt paid off, all from local jobs related to our factory. It's been so impactful that I even started new goals that include American manufacturing in our mission. Our goals right now, 1 million kids bikes per year, 1 million kids per year riding safer Guardian bikes, discovering their confidence, and to be a shining example of American manufacturing done right. Or to put another way, to help the next generation discover confidence in themselves and to help our country discover the confidence to build again. You may have noticed there's been one common theme that runs through a lot of what we've done. It's trying to control our own destiny. From SureStop to Guardian, we never wanted our destiny controlled by someone else. When we started the factory, 97% of kids' bikes were imported from China. I always thought that number was staggering. 97% of all the kids' bikes sold in the United States were imported from China. And then I realized it wasn't just bikes. Solar panels, electronics, so many industries are telling the same story. Over the last 40 years, the United States sold off its industrial base, its abilities to make the things that we need, and it sold it off to China in exchange for financial returns. But here's my fear these days. Our country won't be able to control its own destiny without rebuilding an industrial base. I've come to believe that a weak industrial base is the biggest national security threat that we face. You can't credibly defend yourself if you can't make what you need. And just like Guardian built a way to control its own destiny, the country needs to rebuild the way to control its destiny. A weak industrial base also means we fall behind in the world of atoms, the energy, the materials, the technology that define progress. Look at some of these numbers. China is building 150 new fourth-generation nuclear reactors across the country, and we haven't been able to start one. China's shipyards produce 1,700 ships annually. The US produces 5. China has become the world's manufacturing superpower, outproducing the next 9 nations, including the US, India, and Japan combined. That's the reality, and it gets kind of scary when you really think about it. America is still the land of entrepreneurship and innovation, but so many entrepreneurs with a great product idea can't find a path to produce their product here. When I built SureStop, I had no choice but to manufacture it in China. There was no other way. Today, we've forged that path for ourselves, and we're starting to ask the question, how can we help others control their own destiny with the platform that we've built? Today, you can go on Shopify and start selling a product in an afternoon. Sophisticated AI algorithms on Meta and Google help you find customers in minutes. The hardest part is manufacturing that product and scaling it without relying on China. I think what we've built is the beginnings of an incredible platform. vertically integrated from our US factory floor to the customer's door, driven by customer obsession, building a flywheel of data, insights, and rapid product improvement, turning US manufacturing and vertical integration into the ultimate competitive advantage. What comes next after bikes? You'll have to wait and see, but it's clear to me that what we're building is so much bigger than just a bike company. So tonight, as we celebrate this factory, I want us to think bigger. Guardian is not just about bikes. It's about giving the next generation a future where made in the USA isn't just nostalgia, it's reality. To our suppliers, our investors, bankers, employees, thank you so much for believing in this dream. But also, consider this an invitation. Let's continue building an ecosystem together. Let's continue to rebuild the industrial base that this country and our communities need. And let's make Seymour, Indiana, the center of what the future of American manufacturing looks like. This is only the beginning. Thank you.